You're watching Oilers Nation Real Life.
When are we going to know if Connor McDavid gets any?
It's supposed to be today, isn't it?
Right around 5 o'clock tonight.
It's gonna be.
He's getting something.
It's good. Well, yeah, but it's gonna be more than one. If it's getting a hearing,
Let's go
it's
around the
more than
room.
one game.
Let's go around the room. Fine or suspension?
No,
He's
it's
getting
getting a suspension.
He's getting suspension.
He's
for
getting
sure.
4 games.
He's not getting
You think
4
4?
games. It's going to be 1.
3.
6
Well,
games like the
yeah, I'm just
prophecy.
saying, like, it's
Are you
okay
being
to
serious?
You
think-
actually think it's going to be 4?
I think it's
'Cause
north
what's the
of
minimum
2.
if it's a hearing? Right? The hearing
There is no
means-
minimum. It just means it can't be more than 5. 5 is the max.
Okay, so did they
I'm
give
guessing
Tyler
that's
It's a
Myers?
hearing.
Yeah.
because it's not an in-person.
Correct.
I'm guessing it's 2.
Do they
I
give
think it's
Tyler
2.
Myers the exact same thing as they give Connor McDavid?
They should give him more. They'll give him less.
I'm gonna say comment, and everyone's gonna say I'm saying it because of my stance on the
Oh,
person.
here we go.
But God, did he look like a little baby after he took that stick in the face?
He took his mouth guard out while he skated over to
Yes.
Myers.
It was so, like it looked. I'm like, oh my God.
But ultimately, the problem to me is that doesn't happen if the refs just call Conor Garland on any of
Yeah,
the
I
4 or
have no
5
issue with
penalties.
Connor
Was any
McDavid
of the
did.
3 holdings or the 2 interferences that he did in a
13
matter of 13
seconds.
seconds?
It's just like if that happens, none of the other noise happens.
I'm glad Connor did that, man.
I am too.
Stand up for yourself.
And I know you don't like Chris Pronger, but like I thought his comment
It
was super
perfect.
interesting.
I loved
Oh,
it.
great. That's great.
There
You guys
was a
should-
lot
He
of
just said
people that
Connor's
liked it.
got to get his space, and if he's got to cross check you in the head every now and then, you got to do it.
Yeah, it's
Who tweeted out,
It's a very Sum 41 light up a joint at a concert.
is anybody
take in
else
terms of
not mad
vintage.
about this,
But yeah.
about what Connor did?
I'm
somebody,
not mad.
Somebody,
Vancouver fans.
Oh,
I
they're
love
big
it.
mad.
I think do that more. And
What only I don't like is like it sucks that it's something that gets him suspended.
Yeah.
But like he should have just punched him in the
I'll
face.
take it a step further. Leon Draisaitl had Conor Garland up against the boards. If I'm Leon Draisaitl, I'm dropping the gloves and feeding him a few. What's the worst that happens
You're Leon Draisaitl?
in this world?
You're very wealthy.
Amber's thrilled.
Probably shares a bed with his missus.
Yeah, I guarantee he does.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand how they can go from giving him no fine, no suspension for a little chicken wing to dropping a 3 to 4 game suspension on him for a cross check in
And
the face.
I'm even.
Especially with after what happened before that.
I'm gonna go as far to say that chicken wing was intentional
Oh yeah.
and should have got some kind of something.
Both cross checks done by a guy much taller than the other player that they're cross checking.
Uh-huh.
Is that an argument you would use?
Well, it's like the high ground.
Yeah.
It's he has
He's
the
saying,
high
look, I
ground,
would've
so of
cross-checked
course
him
it's
in
gonna
the
be a
chest.
death
What I think hurts McDavid is that he again
Cross-checked him in the head?
he's taller. Well, it's more the side of the head.
He was going down though.
But see, I think that hurts him. So I think if he would have cross-checked him up and it would have hit shoulder, that's what saved Matthews, I think, was that it went shoulder up on him. On Dahlin when he got suspended. McDavid going down and hitting the head first is like you had one thing in mind.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah. I love what Connor McDavid did. Conor Garland's a rat. Refs didn't call it, which kind of allowed it to lead to that situation. Bouch got booshed in the Bouch.
That Myers was dirtier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that one's worse.
He wasn't engaged
because
with
he
them.
wasn't engaged with them, so he did it. I am interested. So Connor's getting a minimum of 2 games.
Yeah.
Is my belief, which fucking sucks. What is our response going to be on Thursday? You've got little troll Garland.
Yeah.
And you got, Myers will be suspended.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen?
What if Myers only gets 1 game and they let him play?
That would be great.
Hopefully Matthias Ekholm takes matters into his own hands and goes,
He's not that guy though.
you hit my partner.
He's not the guy.
You hit my friend.
So just because I don't know anything
I would
about
get like
But to me, it's, you don't
Okay.
take it out on Garland.
Troy Stetcher could tune him up. I'd be happy about that.
You could Stetcher should, that would be actually fun.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Nurse should take a liberty on Elias Pettersson.
He should.
Mhm.
And that's how you square this up.
Prison justice, we call it.
Can I finish?
Go
No,
ahead.
just kidding. Supplementary discipline. We're talking about a hearing. Who's in the hearing? Who represents Connor? Is it just Connor and then just George Peros?
Johnny Cochran.
But seriously, I don't know how these work. Do you guys know how these work?
I think it's like player, agent, maybe a team rep. And then
Player agents involved?
I think the agent would probably sit in on it. Yeah. And then Peros.
Seems to know what
Apparently-
impact.
Apparently the McDavid thing wrapped up just over an hour ago and it was 20 minutes long.
That's a lot of talk.
After
You got to think like part of that.
18 minutes of it was talking about the new Trove.
Yeah.
You got to think part of it was just like
What's a menu going to be like?
13 seconds of nonsense. Eventually, you're going to snap.
Yeah.
No. It's like Connor's like it's. That's why I think it's going to bring down the games. Probably not. Like if it was Tom Wilson, it would be 300 games.
I'm guessing 2 games.
When you guys see, okay, so listen, a player standing there, let's say Bouchard here. Tyler Myers cross-checks him in the face. Okay, that happened. Garland standing there, cross-checked in the face by Connor McDavid, not really engaging. Matt Rempe and Zach Shai, is that how you say it?
Arbor Xhekaj.
Xhekaj, yep.
They're standing
Wi-Fi?
there.
Wi-Fi.
There's no real indication that they're both going to drop their mitts. And Rempe drops his mitts and gets 2 clean shots before Jack Shai really decides he's going to then drop his mitts. Now, it ends up being a great fight, and I've got no problem. I love fighting. I loved that fight. But do we have a problem with what Rempe did there? Because I was kind of like, you're a fucking loser, man. You're like the face of fighting in this league right now, for better or worse. To drop your mitts that quick and get 2 clean ones off is kind of just a dick fucking move. And why, if we're talking
Did he get the instigator?
I don't know.
Because if he did, then it's just, he paid the time or did the time for the crime.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did.
Yeah.
That was yesterday, right?
Yeah. Back to the
Ripping
McDavid
on hockey
thing
fights,
really
that's all I
quick.
know.
Yeah.
I had Louis DeBrusque on O&E today. He should have been in the McDavid hearing because the way he defended Connor McDavid was
What
unbelievable.
did Louis say?
Louis was just like, Connor McDavid should be sick of it. He called out officiating in the league and how garbage it is. And basically said if the Garland thing gets called, Connor doesn't do that. He loved that Connor stood up for himself and basically thinks the refs lost control of the game. I want you guys to guess. And he did get instigator?
He got the instigator.
Okay.
So I went and looked. Penalties drawn per 60 minutes on the ice for individual players in the league. I took out players who've played fewer than 10 games. So it's like a decent sample size of guys. Where do you think Connor McDavid ranks in the league? Penalties drawn per 60 minutes.
Dead last.
I'm
Well,
going to say top 20.
penalties
I
drawn.
would say top 22.
Top 10.
He's 197th in the NHL in penalties
Nice.
drawn.
What a joke.
per
How does that
60
make
minutes.
sense?
What a joke.
Out of how many players?
Out
Like
of
all of the players?
Yeah, out of the,
Qualified
Do you
by
remember the
phone? I thought
list?
you
Who
were
was
fine.
number 1?
so I will grab that for you. So penalties drawn per 60 minutes. Number 1 is Matt Rempe.
How does he...
Well,
He
fighting.
tries to
He's
kill
dragging
everybody.
someone with him.
Oh, okay.
So McDavid is 197. He is tied with Vetrano, Forbert, Farabee, and Zadorov.
How can that
How does that-
given
how does that
many
make
people
sense?
he goes around on a typical night and how
Yeah.
many people slash him? What a bunch of
Racco
bullshit.
Gudis is 193. Oh, he's
ahead of
taking
him.
penalties.
It just, that doesn't make
He's
any
drawn
sense
himself. So-
when you watch games.
Yeah. So if you just go off straight up penalties drawn, McDavid is 40 or 54th in the league behind Corey Perry and Leon Draisaitl just on the Oilers. But then you look at who the top 10 are in the NHL, and it's a weird mix. Brad Marchand,
He's annoying. Get it?
Yeah.
Nico Hischier, that's maybe
Hard
an
checking.
Yeah. Garnet Hathaway, Tom Wilson, AJ Greer,
Yeah.
all tough guys
Yeah.
to some extent. Matt Tkachuk, David Pasternak, Connor Garland is 8, Matthew Olivier is 9, and Brady Tkachuk is 10, Michael Bunting 11.
A lot of rats in there.
Yeah. So like, again, it just goes to show, and the point Louis kind of made, he was like, all of those guys know how to draw penalties. They know what they're doing. And Louis basically said the NHL's turned into an embellishment league. If you know how to draw a call and if you want to be someone who does that, you'll do it. And he said Connor and Leon don't do it.
Well, like Garnet Hathaway, Tom Wilson, AJ Greer,
Olivier.
like they're not embellishers.
Louis kind of said they are. They know when
They know how to push a button to get a penalty taken on
and
them.
they know how to make sure the ref sees it's a penalty.
Well, all eyes are on like those guys because they're probably likely to do something.
I think what
bad.
JR means is like an embellisher in our minds might be more of a guy like Brad Marchand who gets a little hook, or else,
someone who dives around, but it's
Yeah.
maybe not so much diving, it's knowing how to
or
make
in front of the
something-
net and is
Yeah.
like, banging at a rebound and then gets a little hit and flies backwards because he's in the rat
Yeah.
spots. You know what I mean?
Either way, that number doesn't make any sense.
Well,
It's crazy.
I think
But like the whole like paradox is like
man.
everyone's and
You can't get
going
3
back
games.
to like my Tom Wilson comment. It's Connor does it, everyone like, and I'm like Connor should do it. If Tom Wilson did that, everyone would like put him in jail.
Yeah.
And that's like the hilarious paradox between the two, and both are right to do that in that situation.
Yeah.
So that's why Connor won't get much. It's Connor McDavid, and that's good for us.
so. If he does get 3 games,
That sucks.
our nation watch party at 2:00 on Saturday.
So you're praying for two games.
I want 1.
Well, I want none, but That's not. Gonna
Yeah, I don't want any either. I thought they would just give him a fine. But if Tyler's thinking 4, then that's got to change my opinion a little bit.
3. I think if gun to my head, I think I say 3 now, and Myers gets 2.
Do you think they're
gotta
thinking
become
like,
those
hey,
two.
it's middle of the season. You guys are like second place, tied for second or maybe third now in the overall standings. Let's just give you 2. Let's set a precedence here. Let's use you an example so that we don't have to like have any more of these questions. Because when that Minnesota Wild coach made the iterations of like Connor McDavid could get away with anything was kind of the gist I took from what he was saying.
So the league might just want to squash that narrative.
That's the scary thing, right?
Because right now, wouldn't you want to? Wouldn't if you were a ref and you're reffing the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs right now, and Mahomes, they say that he puts himself in positions to take late hits in order to get those calls.
Yeah.
If you see him do that in the first 2 drives in the first quarter, do you make an example of that?
So that's why I said earlier that the best thing for the Bills is that the officiating is such a big story come out of that Chiefs game, because whatever crew gets the AFC Championship game is probably going to be going, whoa, we don't want that shit.
Yeah.
Like it'll be, I love
they're
it
told to do that shit.
Oh, boy.
to get Taylor Swift in another Super Bowl.
Yep.
Taylor Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Launch of new Eras Tour. The Eras Tour 2.
It's adorable how you guys think there's any element of free will. Shit was worked out with Taylor's team.
What was
8
the
months
big
ago.
thing from the Chiefs game that everybody was mad about? Like, what was that call? Because I missed it.
There was a couple. There was one, Patrick Mahomes got hit and like the guy's hands hit his chest first, then their helmets touched and they flagged it, and it probably shouldn't have been a flag. Then there was one where Mahomes was running, so he's a runner, not a quarterback anymore. And he got hit, and the 2 Texans players like heads hit each other.
No, yeah. So like he dove kind of out of the way, and the 2 Texans players hit above him, and they flagged them for unnecessary roughness.
The Texans for hitting each other.
Yep. Didn't even really hit Mahomes all that much at all.
Yeah.
But he does this thing where when he's going out of bounds, he like slows up just enough so that somebody will come, and if they push him and he flies out of bounds, which he tried to embellish one of them, he'll get a call.
Mm.
So he's kind of mastered that.
Yeah. But that was the big storyline. And I think just again, attention being on it, I'm fine with that.
It really, really, really sucks that tomorrow night we're going to have potentially number 1 versus number 2 and be missing Connor McDavid. Do you think the league, and that's going to be,
Stanley Cup preview.
oh boy.
It could be
I got.
What if the league only finds him?
6-1?
to win the cup.
Yeah.
The
So
league
who'd
just
you-
finds him just so he can play in that game.
They won't.
Conspiracy.
Maybe they gave him 2 just so he's not in the Vancouver game.
I think that's what they'll do.
Did you just say the league wants him in that game?
Yeah. Ovi going for the
Interesting.
record. Connor McDavid, Washington Capitals out of nowhere, first in the NHL.
Not out of nowhere.
We do well against the Caps at home.
Mhm.
And
Steady improvement, Charles.
It has been
Just
pretty
see how we
steady.
match up against them.
Yeah, it's a tough game. Washington, they're the only team in the league who's above a 700 points percentage. They're a wagon.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.